For decades, military planners and aerospace engineers have chased one big idea: an aircraft that can stay in the sky almost endlessly. That idea always sounded futuristic, but a company called Skydweller Aero is getting surprisingly close to making it real. The company has been developing a massive solar-powered autonomous aircraft called Skydweller, designed to stay airborne for extremely long periods while carrying heavy surveillance and communication equipment. The aircraft first grabbed attention back in 2020, when testing began on what became known as the world's largest solar-powered autonomous aircraft. The design is pretty unusual. The Skydweller looks almost like a giant paper airplane with a small cockpit section hanging beneath enormous wings. Those wings stretch nearly as wide as a Boeing 747's. Even though it's huge, the aircraft is incredibly light because it's made entirely from carbon fiber. It weighs around 5,500 pounds, and about 800 pounds of that weight is dedicated to mission equipment like communication systems and surveillance hardware. What makes the aircraft really different is that it doesn't use traditional fuel at all. There's no pilot on board, no standard engine setup, and no fuel tanks. Instead, the entire aircraft runs on solar energy. More than 17,000 solar cells are spread across its wings, collecting sunlight and generating around 100 kilowatts of power. That energy keeps the aircraft flying, while also powering its onboard systems and payloads. At night, the Skydweller switches over to batteries weighing roughly 1,400 pounds. Those batteries allow it to continue operating long after the sun goes down, which is one of the key reasons the aircraft can remain airborne for such extended periods. Most of the aircraft's flights so far have been test missions, and earlier reports claimed it once stayed in the air for 15 straight days. But in 2026, the company achieved something even more important during a real military exercise with the U.S. Navy. At the end of April 2026, the Skydweller participated in the Navy's Flex 26 exercise and set a new autonomous maritime patrol record by remaining airborne for 8 days and 14 minutes. During the mission, the aircraft monitored activity over the ocean while supporting naval operations with advanced surveillance tools. The aircraft carried several high-tech systems on board, including radar tracking equipment, infrared imaging tools, and maritime tracking technology that helped monitor ships and activity across the exercise area. It launched from Stennis International Airport in Mississippi and continued operating until the military exercise officially wrapped up on April 30th. But the mission didn't end there. The aircraft stayed airborne for several more days because severe weather moved into the Gulf of Mexico. Operators tried to keep it away from the storm by routing it near Key West, Cuba, and the Cayman Islands while waiting for conditions to improve. Eventually, the crew saw an opportunity to send the aircraft back to Mississippi. Unfortunately, the weather turned out to be much worse than expected. The Skydweller encountered heavy turbulence and powerful vertical air currents that demanded far more energy to fight against. That became the aircraft's biggest problem. Since it depends entirely on solar energy and stored battery power, the extreme weather drained its energy reserves faster than it could recover them. On the morning of May 4th, the aircraft was forced to ditch into the sea. Even though the prototype was lost, the company says the mission was still a major success. According to Skydweller Aero, the aircraft itself never suffered a mechanical or system failure. Its autonomy systems, airframe, and onboard technology reportedly continued functioning right up until the final moments. The real issue was simply the lack of sunlight and battery power needed to battle the storm. Thankfully, nobody was injured during the incident because the aircraft is fully unmanned. An investigation is still underway to better understand exactly what happened and whether the aircraft can eventually be recovered from the ocean. Despite the crash, the U.S. military still appears very interested in the project. The Navy recently awarded a contract connected to turning the Skydweller into a flying 5G communications hub. The idea is to use the aircraft as a high-altitude communication platform, capable of supporting advanced military networks over massive areas for long periods without landing. For that role, the aircraft was expected to carry Nokia Federal Solutions' Banshee Flex radio system, which can provide high-speed 5G communications over private military networks. That could make aircraft like the Skydweller incredibly valuable for surveillance, communications, disaster response, and maritime security missions. Right now, it's unclear how much the loss of the prototype will slow the program down,